Hello, welcome to Wisdom Wednesday. My name is Robin Finney. I'm your Oracle, Intuitive, and Authenticity Guide. Every Wednesday, I come live to you to offer an Oracle message to support you with where you are. And I am so excited today to be joined by my dear friend, soul sister, and colleague, DrDavia Shepherd. And this is really exciting because I've been thinking about Wisdom Wednesday and some changes that I want to make to it. And I've been wanting to bring in some experts. So DrDavia is our first guest, and she's just, I want everybody to know her, and everybody will know her. But I'm just so honored to have you here as my guest today, DrDavia. And we're going to talk about, I've pulled a message for our collective, and then we're going to talk about your new book that came out this week. So, but before we dive in, I'd love for you to share a little bit about who you are and what lights you up.
Wow, who am I and what lights me up? Hi, everybody. Robin, thank you so much for hosting me. This is really nice, and I'm looking forward to getting some wisdom from you this Wednesday and looking forward to hearing what your Oracle card reading is for today. So my name is DrDavia Shepherd, and I do actually spend my days treating with patients. Most of the patients who come in to see me, they have pain, but I have had the privilege of being able to host this amazing women's group called Ladies Power Lunch. And it's a group of women and a few amazing men who have come together for the express sole purpose of supporting each other. Many of them are entrepreneurs, some are from corporate, some are new to the business world, some are veterans, some are retired, and it's just a really great community of support where people come to support each other, and their number one and only intention is to be supportive. And that, Robin, is what lights me up.
Yes. And thank you so much for sharing that. And I have to say myself that Ladies Power Lunch has made an enormous impact and difference in my life. And there's been so many times on this journey of running my own business that I've wanted to quit and go back to finding a job and just like do something else. And every time this group is just so supportive, and it's full of so many beautiful service-based entrepreneurs who are in it, who have done it, and just say like, no, keep going, keep going. It's getting there. And I'm so excited to talk about your book, because your book has, I wish, like, if you're a new entrepreneur, you're starting out, or you're just like, you're on the journey kind of in the beginning stages, or you're in that phase where you're like feeling a little dry spell and like, what do I do? Kind of feel like at a stopping point or stuck. I have to say, your new book, Grow Smarter, Not Harder, I wish that had been around for me 2 years ago when I started my business. And I'm honored that your book was kind of birthed through just through collaborations and interviews that you did. And you connected me with various people to collaborate with. And so it's just been a beautiful, beautiful journey in that way. And so we're going to talk more about your awesome new book. And so everybody can learn about that. But before we dive into that, since this is Wisdom Wednesday, I pulled a card beforehand, and it is perfectly aligned with your new book. It's from the Sacred Rebels Oracle, and it's called Collaborative Dreaming. So I invite you all, those of you who are watching live or catching the replay, to really listen to the guidance within this card and just hear for yourself how it shows up for you. And then I'm going to tell you after, and DrDavia is going to tell you after, how you can actually put this message into action right now. So Because oftentimes we hear messages, we get inspired and we're like, oh, that's so great. And then we click off and we don't do anything with it. So that is my invitation for you today, is to actually listen and take action. So collaborative dreaming, if you can guess what this card and this message is all about, it's about collaboration. So your heart is big enough to dream not only for yourself, but for a new humanity. Imagine a world that is healed with respect, understanding, and with community that fosters life. Even your dreams that relate to you alone will contribute positively to the greater good, because that is the nature of your heart. Your heart naturally and intelligently cooperates in a grand scheme of loving creativity, working to heal the hearts of the world. The heart creates win-win situations that benefit the individual and the collective. So you are being asked to honor your growing desire to co-create with conscious, like-minded people. Your collaborative dreaming is a heart-inspired win-win, bringing mutual enhancement to yourself and others. The heart wants to love and be loved. Working with others creatively is a way to allow the heart to grow. It is a chance for you to learn how to honor yourself and others, and to find ways to live and let live simply by growing and strengthening your active trust in your heart's guidance. And you are asked to bear the rough patches that can happen when you work creatively with others. Ideas might clash and there can be friction, particularly if you have different ways of working. And sometimes big dreams need more fire to ignite them into reality. More fire might require more friction along the creative path. It is not meant to be a permanent condition, just an aspect of the creative process from which you can learn something useful if you wish. Your guidance is to embrace any experiences of friction or tension within yourself, or as you work with another, with compassion, detachment, and tolerance. Creative endeavors, particularly involving groups, can bring up unresolved issues about being valued, heard, or capable. And they can also trigger disputes about taking responsibility, or inflame insecurities about being cast into unfamiliar roles of leadership or having to follow. This might happen for you or for others or for all involved. But the stronger the creative energy that flows, the more likely that triggering will take place. It is the nature of creative energy to move in all directions. It doesn't just want to grow one project. Everything that comes into contact will grow. That means that with the art and the artists are in process of creation. This can be smooth, but it is more likely to be rough sailing, at least at times. And this is not a sign that something isn't working, far from it. It is more usually a sign that growth is happening and that you are feeling the growing pains. And this oracle is guiding you to stay within your integrity, honor what you feel, and remember why you chose to open up to group endeavors in the first place, especially if the group involvement becomes complex or challenging. Call on unconditional love each day and evening. It only takes a moment to do. I call on unconditional love. Please help and guide me and this project. And you are going through this experience, or will be in the near future, because you are part of a new creative learning program for humanity. And this learning program is taking place at a spiritual level, and it requires highly individualistic and creative people to learn to work with each other without compromising who they are in order to reach a common creative goal. It is wonderful, important, and challenging and creative spiritual work. And please remember that what really matters is that you hear your own voice. And there may be times during the journey that it will be more loving, supportive, and harmonious, and that to just keep moving through. And this oracle comes with particular guidance for you at this phase of your life path and creative journey. You are no longer to think of yourself as the lone wolf. Yes, you have your unique path to tread, but you now have tasks to accomplish for your own growth and the greater good that require more than a one-man band. You will still do your own work, of course. However, others are on the way to help you. There is only so much a single drop of water can do on its own. Though it is precious, together those drops can become a wave and make a considerable impact in the world. You are part of a wave of loving consciousness, and you are meant to be exploring collaborative dreams, healing relationships, and conscious communities. Some connections will be short-lived and perhaps involve some learning experiences that you are hopeful of never needing to repeat, but others will be long-term loves. Either way, you will emerge more of yourself and more in connection with the world and the wants your ideas, presence, the world that wants your ideas, presence, energy, and light. So I love the aspects of this message that it's encouraging us to step out of our comfort zone. And I also, and I would love Davia, for you to share your thoughts on this, because I feel too that the part that talks about the conflict that comes in group, I find that that's when we're allowing our ego to get involved. But when we're like consciously creating and allowing all of ourselves to come forward, then it really, a beautiful collaboration can really come. And that the tension that comes is kind of from the old paradigm of kind of masculine working in that realm. So I would be curious, I would love to hear your thoughts on that. And yeah, I would love to hear your thoughts, your wisdom, because you were such a wise being around this message. And yeah, and then we'll talk about your book and how all of this comes together.
I love this card, Robin, and I think it's just amazing how you pulled the perfect card for our conversation today. There are definitely no accidents. I was taking a couple of notes while you were reading the card because there were so many things that were jumping out at me that felt so right. I loved the idea of co-creating with like-minded people. And you mentioned a new paradigm. We have been taught that competition is the way to move forward and that there are winners and losers. And, you know, there probably is a place somewhere for this competitive mindset. But my suggestion is, and what your card that you pulled today is suggesting, is that we are each individual, but we are all part of a bigger picture. We're all part of something greater, and that we were meant to be community. We were meant for each of us to provide a different piece of the puzzle, to be a different part of the whole. And I love where it says that one drop of water, it's precious, but we need all the drops in order to actually get the benefit. And so there's a place for everyone. I love the idea that each of us is born with some genius. Each of us. It might not be fully expressed because we might not have explored it enough, or it might not be fully expressed because it's not necessarily, it may not be something that society embraces or encourages, but every single one of us has something about us that's so special and so amazing. And we, in my opinion, are made to all fit together, and we're made to actually be in collaboration. So I adore this card. I like that it reminds us that sometimes it's going to be ups and downs and that we need to be prepared for that. And I agree with you that truly, when we are coming from within, when we're coming from the inner self, a lot of the rough patches can be smoothed out.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for sharing all of that. I think that's part of the aspect where so Dr. Davia wrote this amazing book that came out this week. It's called Grow Smarter, Not Harder. And it's all about the power and magic of collaboration. And I'm so honored to have one of my collaborative stories in the book about one of my stories of collaborating and the beauty behind that. And what I love the aspect of this message about the lone wolf. And that's what so many entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, they feel like that. It's like, oh, I'm a lone wolf. I've got to do everything on my own. And that's the part that I wish I had known in the beginning, that it's like, no, it's not. It's not a competition. There's enough abundance to go around. We all have our own unique skills, and we bring our own essence to to the table in that way. And so that's what I love about your book is it really does marry those ideas of letting go of competition and embracing our gifts and how we can, when we do come together, like you said, that one drop of water can make a difference, but then you get hundreds and thousands of drops of water, just the difference that can make and create an ocean. And so it's like creating an ocean of collaborators in this world and who are doing beautiful work and change. So thank you for writing this. And I would love for you to just tell us a little bit about your book. And I'm waiting. I've ordered my copy. I can't wait. I have the digital, but I'm waiting to get the actual like hard copy in the mail. I'm so excited. But tell us a little more about the inspiration behind your book and what you have coming up, because I know you have a big event coming up that's tied in with your book. And then I will, at the end of this, I'll post all the links so everybody can gain access to everything.
Robin, you're so generous. And I just want to say that I so greatly appreciate you inviting me to come talk about my book today and to share this book, which was really a labor of love and which was also in being developed, it was a completely collaborative effort. So a very dear friend, Cricket Cody Harrison, she's also an outstanding coach. She really encouraged me to bring my idea for women coming together, and not just women, but people in general, coming together to support each other, to grow our incomes and our impact. The thing that I have noticed, and hosting our Ladies Power Lunch group over the years, and we've been together for about 8 years now, hosting our group over the years, one of the things that I have really noticed is that we want to grow our businesses. Who doesn't? If you don't want to grow your business, just post "I don't" in the chat. Just want to let you know, nobody's posting "I don't" in the chat. Everybody wants to grow their business, right? They want to have more income, they want to have more impact, they want to have more time freedom, all the things that lead to them having a more full and rich and optimal life. That's the whole point, isn't it? But we don't necessarily have more energy. We don't have more time. Everybody just has 24 hours in the day. We don't necessarily have more resources. A lot of people, when they're starting out in businesses, resources might be limited. And so there has to be a way that we can grow in spite of all the difficulties that we might be facing. And the traditional way, and the way that I learned, and perhaps, Robin, the way that you learned in the past, was that you push through and you force and you work harder and you strive and you drive and you grab, and by any means necessary. There are all these quotations or words of encouragement that really encourage us to go harder. Just do it is on all my workout gear. I mean, we are encouraged at every turn to go harder at it. But my experience is that, and this is my personal experience and the experience of the 20 women that we interviewed for writing the book Grow Smarter, my experience is that that just leads to overwork, overwhelm, lackluster results, and also in my case, burnout. Yes, guys,
Yes.
I experienced burnout, and burnout is real. It's a real live animal. So another school of thought is that, we're attracting things into our experience. And that makes sense too. But for the entrepreneur or somebody like me who's a bit of a doer, that might be a little bit too passive for me to buy into or for me to wait on. And so there's another option, and that is employing the power of the collective, inviting support from like your card said, like-minded individuals, because you don't want to just invite support from just anybody. I mean, you
Yeah.
don't want to just go out on the street corner with your megaphone and invite collaboration. That seems to me like a bad idea. But inviting like-minded individuals to hop on board and let's see what amazing, beautiful things we can co-create together. That's when we see the beautiful things showing up. And that's when we see even results that we might not have been able to achieve on our own, or our collaboration partner might not have been able to achieve on their own. But when you get together, that power of the collective, that power of coming together gives you something that's so much greater than just 1 plus 1. You don't just get two, you get something that's greater than two. And I like to say that's new math.
Yeah, I love that. And I'm curious how, what do you say to people who have a fear or they've been burned in the past with collaborations that maybe didn't go so well because maybe they weren't aligned, or with like-minded people, or there was something, ego or something got in the way. And so there may be people watching this that are like, yeah, Dr. Davia, I would love to do that. I would love to be in a world with no competition, but can really, like, is that really possible? So what would you say to those
I
people who they
agree.
want to step in, but they're scared?
What I would say to them is, I absolutely agree with you. You're completely right. Look, here's the deal, guys. We all, every single one of us, I believe, have some post-traumatic stress surrounding collaborations. If it's even from grade school when we got that project, that was a group project that did not go well. The project that somebody was bossy, somebody wasn't pulling their weight, somebody was not listening to our ideas when we brought them to the table, somebody got dismissed, somebody had to be the one doing all the things because everybody else was goofing off or whatever. And guess who was the one who was doing all the things? We all have some stress surrounding that. We all have examples in our life that are bright and shining of collaborations that did not work, that did not go well. But one of the things that I talk about in the book and that I love to mention and love to remind people about is that one, competition is mental construct. It doesn't exist, it's not real, but it's real in our society because it's something that has been taught to us from the moment we were born and something that has been brought down through generations. So whereas it's not really real, it's still something that people think is real. And then the second thing that I would say is that when it comes to a collaboration, a lot of the things that we call collaborations, they're not true collaborations at all. For example, the group project that we all did in high school or college or wherever you happen to do, even in, I remember doing group assignments in corporate that were horrendous. So I get you. I see you. I understand why you are hesitant. And I will say to you that those are not real collaborations and that there are steps that you want to take when you're entering into a real collaboration. And there are only 5 steps. They're pretty simple. But there are 3 things to look for when you're looking at something to try to determine if it is, in fact, a collaboration. Thing one, the end user, the person who's receiving the product at the end, are they winning? So it's got to be a win for them. Thing two, are you winning? Are you getting what you want out of this? If you're not, it's not a collaboration, it's something else. And thing three, is your collaboration partner winning as well? And if you have all those 3 things in place, 1, 2, 3, that is a collaboration. If they're absent, that is not at all what a collaboration is all about. And I go into great detail about that in chapter 2 of my new book. And I just want to share it with you guys for a second because
Beautiful.
I am so excited about the beauty of this book. Our collaboration partners on this book were Green Heart Living Press. They did all the publishing, my dear friend Elizabeth, and of course, Barb of Infinity Brand Design. She designed this beautiful cover. Look at that. It's so
Stunning.
beautiful.
Stunning.
Collaboration requires that you take certain steps to ensure that it's successful, and it needs to have those three things to make sure that it is actually a collaboration.
Yeah. And I love, there's just so many nuggets, and we could talk all night about this. But I just want to say that you mentioning like your collaborators who supported you in getting this book across the finish line and out into print. I've collaborated, and I'm in the process of collaborating with them too. So it's like, it's so cool. It's like Elizabeth Hill and we're launching a 9-month writing program for people who want to write an inspirational book or memoir. And Barb Pritchard and I, who she's been one of my clients through Oracle course, and then I introduced her to you, and it's just like, and then Ladies Power Lunch, and she just like flourished in that group. It's been just so fun watching her blossom, and we're looking at collaborating our skills and gifts together. And it's just like, it's so cool to see that. And that's really what Ladies Power Lunch is all about. I've made so many dear friends and collaborations in that group. So I'm going to give everybody 3 prompts, and I'll post all of the information afterwards in the comments. But first is to join Ladies Power Lunch. We would love to have you. It's a beautiful group to be in. There's no other group like this group. I can just say that hands down. There's no other group I'm in where it's truly like women supporting women, and the few men who are in our group.
And a few men, don't forget our guys, because they
men.
are awesome too.
And then 2, to go out and buy your book. So I'm going to post the link for that so that everybody can get a copy. And then you have like a bundle or something going on with the book. And then tell me about the event that's happening in August.
So I really, really want, Robin, for everything that I do to be a collaboration, or at least as many things as possible. And so with this book launch, we also wanted it to be a collaboration. Building the book was a collaboration. We got interviews from all these different women in our Ladies Power Lunch group. We post questions in the group. We got answers. It really was an effort of love and collaboration. We worked together, Barb and Elizabeth and myself, to get it across the finish line. And now we're at that stage where it's time for you, the reader, to benefit. And I really, really am interested in you getting as much out of this book as possible. I love to remind everybody that we're all readers, and we have so many books on our bookshelves, and we've read them. But how many of us are really integrating all the information that might be golden, all the nuggets that might be amazing, that might be even life-changing, business-changing? How many of us are implementing all of those things in our lives, in our businesses every day? And I would have to say that I can say for myself, I don't always get a chance to do it. So my invitation is, go ahead, purchase the book. And you like the book, I'm pretty sure, because, well, I think it's pretty great. I was reading through it the other day. True story, no joke. I was reading through it the other day, and I was like highlighting passages and like, oh, this is pretty good. I should take some notes. Really good stuff in there. But what I want everybody to do is to get a head start on implementing and integrating. One of our dear friends, Darla Ledoux, she likes to say that information is cheap. You can get information anywhere. You can buy information anywhere, but the actual implementation, the integration into your life, that's where you get the real benefit. it. And so from me to you, I want to offer you the opportunity to integrate. Here's what I suggest. Buy the book from our website, and Robin's going to go ahead and post the link so you can get it. But when you go to the website, you'll have an opportunity to put in your proof of purchase. Once you do that, from me to you, completely free of cost, I'm giving you a 4-module course. Not too many modules, because I know nobody has time for all that, but 4 modules just to get you through implementing, starting doing this stuff on a daily basis so that you can grow your income, grow your impact, get that time freedom, and live your optimal life. And then there's more. In addition to getting this free course, I would also love to invite you to have an opportunity to not just implement, but integrate. And so we're having a wonderful event on August 30th, and it's going to be a full day of workshops, giving you the opportunity to integrate this work into your business, into your life, and we're going to do it together. So if you purchase the book and when you put in your proof of purchase, you'll also get a discount on the ticket to attend Grow Smarter Live on August 30th. From me to you.
I love that. Thank you. These are all generous gifts. And I was going to bring up, we're channeling each other, because I was going to bring up Darla's quote as well, because it's, and the card, our Oracle card today spoke to that as well, about, it's like, it doesn't happen with collaborative dreaming. It's like, if we're not putting it into action, then it's like, we can read this card, you can hear this message today, but if you just go, oh yeah, Robin, that was a great message, thanks for sharing, I feel so inspired, and then tomorrow you wake up and you're not doing anything with it, then it's not really making a difference for you. So I invite you all to not just take this as information, but actually take it and utilize it and put it into action, inspired action, and yeah, and just see the magic that unfolds with it. So buy the book, and I'll post all the links, and I would love to, I'll be at the event on August 30th. So join me, please join me, and so many amazing people who will be part of that. And it will, I know just from being in your presence, Davia, that it's not just an event, it's also the chance for you to come forward and meet your future collaborators.
Exactly, because it will be a room full of like-minded co-creators.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much for your time today, Dr. Davia. And I'm so honored to have you as our first expert guest on Wisdom Wednesday. And thank you all for joining, whether you're joining live or catching the replay. I'm just so honored that you were all here today, and I invite you to, buy the book and get started there. So thank you all so much, and I hope that you have a wonderful evening. Take care.